Be'ez Hashem Pashas Vayechi Tovshin Pei Daled. We all know that when a person is trying to earn parnasa, on the one hand, we need to daven and believe in the Rebbeinu Shalom, and in addition to that, we need to do ishtadlus. This is all the reasons why, but both parts are needed. What's important when sometimes we don't realize is what's the connection between the two. It means that a person should remember that it's not like a person could do the davening part and then put the siddur away and then he does ishtadlus and he just gets fully involved in the ishtadlus. Emotionally, the avodah is how to connect the two. Meaning that a person should be able to be so overwhelmed with Amunah and Bitochen that while they're doing the physical action of Ishtadlus, their hands are doing it, but their mind is focused on what they felt and understood while they davened or while they had Amunah and Bitochen. This is a concept that needs to be reviewed, and there's a lot of homework that's needed. So a person should be able to execute this avodah of, on the one hand, his hands are doing whatever they're doing, and at the same time, that's the nakuda, at the same time, they're thinking about the Rebbeinu Shalom. Not an easy task, but it's essential to be able to actually succeed in this complicated sugya of Amunah and Bitochen, and actually to bring the abundance to the person. That's why it's so important to learn how do you do that. Some tzaddikim teach, they say, it says, Yegia kapecha kisoichel, ashecha v'tevlach. A person's yegia, they're working very hard, sweating, their hands are working hard, but the mind is not there. It's Yegia kapecha, but their mind is thinking about the Rebbeinu Shalom. Now, it's really tricky. It's for sure easier said than done, because when a person is doing stuff, they automatically need to put part of their mind to what they're doing. You can't just be in a different world. If you're trying to make a phone call and talk to someone, you're talking to that person. You need to think what you want to say, how you want to present it. Imagine you're a salesperson. So if the person is totally not here, they're checked out because their mind is now looking at the Chavis Halvavas, they can't speak to that person, so they're not doing Ishtadlus. They're just not doing it. You have to be with 2 feet on the ground and do whatever you're supposed to do. That's why it's tricky.
So interesting, Chanuch, because Miyachid Yichudim, how can you do that when you're working on somebody's shoes? Miyachid Yichudim by focusing on doing his work honest and the best way that it should be done.
Oh, so one part is that while a person is focused that their job that they're doing should be done al pi halacha, and they should be not halfway there and halfway not. So when they're doing that, that's called being an erlich yid. You're in the middle of having Yireh Shamayim. If you're working for someone and you're coming on time, you know why you're coming on time, because you don't want to be a ganav. So you're trying to be medayik and coming on time. You're also trying to give it your best. I really want to do this. Why? Not because my balabos knows or is going to criticize or whatever. Just I want to be an erlich yid and do it the proper way. I want to be able to do it b'shleimus. So it's definitely one of the very beginning of dargis, which is so important, which is sofkos, so if you're thinking about Hashem, that's called thinking about Hashem. And we see in the Gemara, at kedekach, that a poil, someone that's working for someone else, he can't even say the full birchas hamazon. The Chachamim said, just say the short version. Why? Because you're supposed to be investing your koyach in your job. What do you mean birchas hamazon and tefillah? The Torah is saying that's the hashkafa of the Torah. And the Rambam, when he finishes off Hilchas Chiras, the Rambam says that a person should be giving all he got, b'chol koichoy, like Yaakov Avinu. The Rambam calls him in that halacha Yaakov HaTzadik, said that he worked for Lavan b'chol koichoy. He gave it all he's got, and that's why he was successful and he had parnasa barachova. Vayifroitz l'roiv, the Rambam says, you know why he had so much hatzlocha in the parnasa? Because he was so honest, and he worked for Lavan with his whole koyach. So there, it's a very stark raya that's cool thinking about the Rebbeinu Shalom. And more than that, when we learn the sugyas of bitachon, we know that this is the way how the Rebbeinu Shalom sends the shefa. So the Rambam says, "Vayifritz l'roiv as a teitzah from working with chol koichai," because you're doing things the way they're supposed to. It's interesting because it's very, very sensitive and delicate. To be able to have it out right, you need years of experience. Because the Gemara says that a person is supposed to have teirosoi kva u'malachtoi arai. Now, I don't know how you say kva and arai, but the main part, the most important part in the person's day is supposed to be Torah, and malacha is supposed to be second, not so important. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean how many hours a person puts in, because it's more in the mind. What the person feels is important and what's less important. So sometimes people could feel that if the Gemara is expecting a person to have malachton arai, then I could be coming late because I was davening longer. I could be going out in the middle because I'm chapping kedusha. Kol minei zachen. What do you mean? It's supposed to be like, I don't really want to do this, but what should I do? I'm here. Sometimes, if a person doesn't learn the sugyas, it could seem to contradict. But actually it's the opposite. Because, like you just mentioned, a person that's learning Almanas L'Kayim, when he learns, because I want to become an Erlachid. And when they go to work, what they're thinking about at work is, how do I do my tafkid right? How do I serve the Rebbeinu Shalom by doing what I'm doing better? So what they're doing right now is, they're in the middle of being Mekayim Teros and Kva. While they're at work. That means they feel that I want to invest my life to refine myself by doing my malacha the way the Torah designed it to be. And they're not getting sucked in to be nivhal lahoin, it's called, Shlomo HaMelech calls it, trying to make the extra dollar. What could I do to chaper? No, I want to do it right. When you want to do it right, you're in the middle of being mekayim the Torah. You're in the middle of thinking about, I just learned that I'm supposed to be an Elachit. How do I implement it? How do I do it better? So that's called Teros and Kva. He's invested constantly how to become a better Yid, and the whole topic of Malacha is supposed to become part of that. Yeah. So now, that's step number one. The title of today's shir is, how do we connect the mind chelik of Emunah B'Tachon, which is remembering that the Rebbeinu Shalom runs the world and does everything anyways, and the davening part, with the physical, with the ishtadlis. How do we connect it? While we're doing ishtadlis, we should try to remember, while we're doing it, that really the Rebbeinu Shalom is running it, but I'm just doing the last part. It's like I'm the mailman, just to do what I'm supposed to, but I'm having a zin that I'm doing it l'shem to do my tafkid, to bring the shefa. So step number one, how to do it, is pashut by following orders and doing it the way the Torah wants you to do it. That's very, very important. But a person is supposed to try to do it in more oifanim, to try to remember. Let's give some examples. The Rebbeinu Shalom created us that our mind has subconscious, and then it has the what we call conscious. That means what a person is aware of what they're thinking, and then there is behind that. Sometimes a person is b'chlal not aware what's going on in their mind, in their subconscious. But we know that the way a person speaks, the way he thinks and refers to situations that come up, is built on their subconscious. The yesodis that they have in their mind, sometimes is what they went through, nature, nurture, both of them. And that's the reason why people act the way they act, or hold what they hold, whatever it is. That's how the Rebbeinu created us. Now, why is it so important? Why does a person have to have two parts of their mind constantly? It's because the Rebbeinu wants us to be able to split our mind to two constantly. And actually we do it anyways. We just have to do it in the right way. Imagine a fundraiser that he's in the business a couple of years. He's not new. He built relationship with these nadvonim, with the rich people. He's bemis. He remembers their birthday and their family. And when he comes over to schmooze about the person's son-in-law and about how's it going, you told me last Sunday you were supposed to fly to France. What ended up happening? And he's bemis. He's an emotional person. He bemis. He was matzliach to connect. He connects with people. Not for 1 second while he's schmoozing with that person about the person's son-in-law, about the business trip, does he forget about why he came here. He's waiting for this exact second when to give the pitch. That's the metzias. What's the pshat? Because he's fully focused. He came in for a purpose. Now the pshat is, he knows you got to do what you got to do. Now, if he's experienced and he has the talent and tact, so he's bemis. He's not playing a game. He's bemis, talking to the person, feeling with the person. He eventually mamalta, where he cries with Nechem Avelim. It's for real. Obavos, if it doesn't make a difference, the yesod, what he wants so badly, is strong. He's so stark focused on it. So that's the reason why he's not forgetting. He's waiting for that minute. A fundraiser told me this. It just takes over the person. This same example is also when a person is into chinuch and he has a challenging child, and he has learned that I can't just walk over to him and just criticize him or whatever, or even open up this topic. It's not going to work. The person has some experience. He decided he's going to take him on a trip and schmooze and open up, and he's waiting for that moment when he could drop the bomb. Now, let's understand what's happening. What's the yesod of this koyach that the Rebbeinu Shem gave to a person? Sometimes people could feel that there's maybe a little bit checker involved in it. It's like a shtickle game. You don't really mean what you're doing. You're just doing everything. You just want to cut. You really want the ikka. Everything is around. It wasn't a geya. Like if someone is schmoozing and after 20 minutes, oh, this is what you wanted, so why are we like beating around the bush? No. It could be used on a sheker digger oifen, like anything. But it has a mahalach that the Torah wants you to use this koyach. Always every person should use this koyach on the right mahalach, with a real gang. In many different ways. We just used chinuch as an example. A person that wants to be mechanech has a tafkid. His tafkid is that he needs to be able to slowly schmooze with the person and dilute the medicine. It has to be with some sweeties, with some zachan around. If not, it's not going to work. Torah wants you to do that. The pasuk says that when the Rebbeinu Shem wanted to tell Odom Arishan that he was choite and he fell from his darga, likone sime b'dvarim. And the concept behind that is that when the mashpia is here and the makabel is there, that means up and down. If they're further away, you can't just zoom in and say, hey, sometimes people say your hat is dirty. When it's a technical zach, you could just say, but if you tell you happen to be your meshugana next, you didn't do anything. You are mazik right now. You can't convey information like that. You have to go slowly. What's happening while you're going slowly is you're being mekar of two olamais. You're going down to that person's level, and you're schlepping up that person to your level until you feel common ground. When we have common ground, we just walk through. In any type of when there's business deals and whatever, sometimes it's emotionally, sometimes it's you have to bring two parties to verstehen. But it's not a tachlis the other way.
They spend so much money on business lunches. Businesses pay millions.
Business, sure, they pay. The businesses pay take out a coffee, come to the restaurant, let's talk. Now, but it's not, the point of the shir is, it's not about sheker. It's not about, let me just like take him on a ride when he doesn't chap. That's not the point. Of course, it could be used like that. And many people abuse the system, because it's easier to abuse the system than use it right. But the real mahalach is that we try to connect olamis, and even in the business world, it's like when you could merge two businesses, the toyalas could be the fruit, the teitzois could be so much more. But that's the concept. Imagine a father and a child. He's trying to get a message across, and he's a mechanic, and he feels, I have to take on a trip by the water. Let's sit by the water, and let's schmooze about his life. I'm going to schmooze about my life. Slowly, then I could talk. Every person, whenever they do ishtadlus, and this is the concept, you're trying to bring together two worlds. Both are within you. One is the oilam from machshava and moyach, and the second is the oilam ha'asiyah. You're going down in the mud and you're on your knees and you're doing your plumber, whatever you're doing, every person with their job. The tachlis of the world is not only a tactic in Amunah and Bitochen. This is the tachlis al pi chassidus for sure, but the chassidus is only explaining it deeper what the kadmonim say and what the psukim meant to be. We are supposed to be able to be mechaber to oilamais, to bring oilam haba into oilam haza. That's the tafkot of a person in this world. That's why he has within him such heights and such low parts. That's the kind, because he's someone that he's fitzul, he has everything within him, so he could be mechaber them. So now we tell the person, the beginning of your day, please don't go to work before davening. Halacha. Why? What do you mean? You're not ready. First, learn daven. Put yourself into a matziv that you are a ilam haba type of person. And that was a tricky part. It's not easy, but now the idea, the concept is, try to take some information that you just learned about Hashem. Most probably it was an Ashrei. Everything about Toiv Hashem L'Kol Racham L'Kol Masa Pesach Sedecha. It's va'akev al pi halacha to remember the Rebbeinu Shem sense Parnasa. Tzadik Hashem L'Kol Derech V'Chazul Chamaysav. And now, very careful. Take the first step out of shul. And L'Moshel, you met a person. Like the things that happen to us every day, those small details. The person asked you for a favor, or the person needed help, whatever it was. And you try, okay, let me implement it for the first 5 minutes. But let me be a keli, a merkava, a vessel for the shefa that I just learned that's in here. Let me bring it up in a koich halapoil. Now, people do it so many times. We just need to learn how to do it more often, and the challenge is in areas that we didn't learn how to do it in those areas. Because, for example, if we'll use chinuch again as an example, imagine a person had a beautiful erev, it was a Matzah Shabbos, gorgeous Mulava Malka, they spoke about chinuch, about smiling to your children, giving attention to your children, whatever it was. And it clicked with you, that drosha. And you came home, and you implemented that pashat, because that was the mitzvah. You came home, you smiled. You came home, whatever it was, you had savlonas. You used some of the tactics that you learned. Patience. You used one of the tactics that you learned. What is that? We do it. We actually do. We try to implement what we learn, and many times when it works, it brings to such a spilus, because wow, it be'emes worked. The reason why it brings to such a spilus is not only because of the result. The result is exciting. It's because when a person is machaber, what they understand, and the matzliach, they're successful in figuring out how to do that, they feel their shleimus. That's a person. That's a odom. That is the mile of a odom. That he was given the koyach to fix pipes. He has fingers. He could do it. And all kinds of mahalchim. He could talk to people to try to make shalom in such a messy matziv. He talks to this party and to that party. We know how bad we feel when we mess up in such cases. A person feels like a shmata, mamash gefährlich. They said what they weren't supposed to, too early, or too... Why did I say that? but the real reason is not only because the result is that person slammed the door against you and said, I don't want to. It was because I just messed up my koyach that I have. I feel that I did it wrong. I didn't have all the parts of the puzzle right. Sometimes it was basheret, many times it was basheret. It's a lot of agmas nefesh. But a person has the inner feeling that I am supposed to be able to do it right, and do it right means with the Rebbeinu Shalom. It means have a munah, and then let me do the first step and remind myself, I do shtadlis. In the bracha. That's the tricky, but the most yesoidi is the essential part of ishtadlis. How do I do it? Cultivate. The Chazon Ish said, I always do ishtadlis kalt. I don't know, there's no word in English because if you're going to say cold, you did not translate.
Chill.
Maybe. The person is in a matzah that he's not emotionally invested in what they're doing, as in, if I'm going to say, they have their mind, their Rebbeinu should be with me, putting the right words into my mind. If it's bashed, it should happen. If it's not bashed, it's also, everything is good. It's good. I'm just doing the part that I'm supposed to be doing. That's the tachlis adam. That's be'emes the tachlis adam. How do I make this chibur of total conscious? So back to what we started, that if the Eibishter gave us this koyach of having subconscious and the conscious that's in the forefront of a person's mind, then a person is trying to say, instead of the subconscious should be like, how do I get him? How do I make the money? Switch that part. The subconscious is, für die Welt, I'm only a shlich. I want to change that subconscious. Then what I'm saying, I'm focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing. Just I'm trying to hold on. Now, if a person should try with 5 minutes at a time, when a person tries with 5 minutes, they could try for 5 minutes to do that. But if they have the concept in their mind that you have a subconscious anyways, so you might as well use it for the right thing. Sometimes the subconscious of the person is they want to be noiseichein by that person. That's the subconscious. Any kind of shichnua, of persuading, convincing, persuading, is there's a subconscious the whole time. There's a subconscious. I'm not like looking the whole time. I'm talking, but I'm a whole time remembering. The Eibishter wants us to work like that's why he gave us two parts of our minds. When you mentioned just earlier that a person is supposed to try to focus to do it right, let's elaborate it. If a person is be'emes trying to do what's right, automatically the subconscious is about the Rebbeinu Shalom. Because why are you so badly want to do it right? Sometimes you could have a person that's a go-getter, and he wants to so badly show his boss his kishroiness. That's where a person's, you see the subconscious is not in the right place. Sometimes you see the kind of pressure people put to get something done. You hear, you feel behind their words that they just told the other person, I could get it done for you. I'm good, I protect you, I could get it done. You feel the sheker behind it. The person doesn't have this tachlis. And the people that are be'emes go-getters, the be'emes, they bring things to the finish line. There are a lot of people that have this, koyach, they be'emes get things to the finish line. I've met in the past people that they told me, I always had this, but in the beginning of my life, it was done that the subconscious was, if I'm achad that something happens, it happens. So I got things done. I really brought it to the finish line. But what was the subconscious? Where do you want to get to? Or, not always, it's exactly that. It's like, I want my Ratzon should be fulfilled. I need this to happen because I need this to happen. So whatever it takes, but I have to have my way. It should happen my way. And I spoke to a person, and he told me. But then when I got older, and I learned Chovas Halvavos, and I understood my mistake, I didn't change to be laid back. No. Just my subconscious changed. when I feel something is right, I feel this has to happen. Not because I want it to happen, because the Rebbe wants this to happen, so this has to happen. So if I have talent to bring things to the finish line, to figure out, so what needs to be done? The drive is, it's the richtige Zach. It's in every person's life, they have to learn how to be aware. The awareness, what is my subconscious? Why do I so badly want this to happen? Once a person wants be'emes elokos, he's like testing himself why I want it, and he feels it's the right. Sometimes a person could feel if it's coming from the right place, if it's not coming from the right place. Then they could be'emes get invested in doing it the way they're supposed to and doing it right and working b'chol koichoi. They know that this is what I'm supposed to do. But the subconscious, this is the yesod. When you have that, then you're at the same time in both ilamas. I'm serving the Rebbeinu Shalom. I'm doing what I'm supposed to.
The sheish mitzvahs to me don't necessarily have to be that you're thinking, right? After Hashem, if you build your subconscious full of the sheish mitzvahs to me, is that how you're able to?
That's supposed to be. He's saying that the sheish mitzvahs to me is the subconscious of many different actions that you're doing in your life. You're not stopping and now doing sheish mitzvahs to me and then saying, okay, I wish I could continue doing that, but what should I do? I have to run. Where you're running to, whatever you're running to, take that along, and now do it with that mahalach. Now, many areas in a person's life. This we just said it from clearly, but if a person would chap, we used chinuch as an example. Let's try to use different examples. A person chinuch pshat is I want to bring Eibishter into that person's mind. That's the subconscious of mind. Now, how do I do it? This way, that way. We'll do it all kinds of ways. Agav, if we're in chinuch, once again, this is the big difference between a machanach al pi Torah and education if it's not al pi Torah. The subconscious. And that's why many times when you read different books or you listen to sometimes people that are not coming from the Torah world, sometimes it's gefährlich. Because the Pshat says that tactics are true. There's a musik of Chachma Bagoyim Taman. But the very, very big problem is that the reason why you want to educate, what's the yesod? You want to smile. You want to build a relationship. Like, what do you want to get to?
Get people to do what you want.
Yeah. That means the good goyim, says the ones that are already be'emes, be'esera, is to be successful in this world, which means kavod and tainuk. Money. That's called, you want to bring him to be a strong person, a responsible person, a healthy person, so he should be able to be successful in life and make a lot of money and get a degree. So what's happening is that while you're educating for the yesodis that are be'etzim normal yesodis, take the musik of being responsible and not being lazy. That's good. Any way you turn it, it's about some good tazach. The problem is that if you're being mechanech now, not to be lazy, but how you're doing it, what's going to come out, if the subconscious is, you're not going to be able to get a good job, or you're not going to have a good, or whatever, what's happening is it goes through, it's in the environment, it's through your words and the whole atmosphere, that person gets the subconscious. That's what that person was makabel. And many times, people don't chap. You can sometimes overhear a person, he doesn't chap. He tells his child, you were playing a whole davening. The macht me bishes. You're making me bezyoines. He doesn't chap. You're embarrassing me. He doesn't have what he's doing. He's saying the truth. Shkoyach for saying the truth. Why are you so bothered? You're bothered because you're being embarrassed. So what are you trying to be mechanech to? Please don't embarrass me. Now, a person that feels he's getting embarrassed, it's very painful. I'm not being it's painful. But this is the message. This is the subconscious. People take it in all areas. Because when people are being mechanech their children to wear this type of hat and this type of gartel and whatever it is, and really what they mean to say is, you're not doing this to me. I'm not sitting by a bar mitzvah with you. Well, no way, no way. You are going to do what I said. The message is, not because you said it, even if you're going to be a big Oiber Chacham, you're not going to say that. You're going to quote every tzaddik in the world. But that person knows it inside out. The subconscious is, you're not going to embarrass me now. I said in the Menashul, and when you go into the ladies section, it's the same thing. About tznius, you're being mechanech with tznius, but you can't fake it. The fact is that the child knows that the reason why you want this code, everything's choshev, but we just have to open up the emes. The subconscious is, because I'm embarrassed of my sisters. I'm embarrassed. You're not doing this to me. It's a yesod in Yiddishkeit. It's, what? The right, you're saying what's the right way? It's very painful the right way. It's very, very painful. You know why? Because it's not a quick fix. Because when that's the matziv, and that is the matziv, it's the truth, because we're not yet worked out. We're not yet in the emes place that we're supposed to be, where we have to be honest. The right way is, first step number one, awareness. Tell me the truth. Your shemaim is the reason why you want your kid to dress like that. Why aren't you so scared of the Rebbeinu Shalom, A, B, C, D, E, F, G? We know the truth. So let's, first the awareness. If you could be healthy and know it, that's the number one. I'm honest. Yes, that's the reason. If you were not going to go through this step, we can't go weiter. It's painful. I promise you it's painful. But if this is step number one, step number two is that a person should see that I just want to tell you something. Be aware that if that's the reason and you're going to put pressure because of that, it's not going to work. Because even if you're going to work for short term, when that child is going to grow up, they're not going to kill themselves or do something because of you. You know why? Because even though they're not allowed to embarrass their parents, and they're supposed to be mechaber with their parents, and they're supposed to be moshe nefesh with their parents, and they're wrong. The problem is that the sheka part that was within is not letting them do what's right. They feel that it's corruption, which I do. It's I'm telling you, it's painful, but it's them. They feel like you have a problem. Don't throw your problems at me. You have an issue, but let me live my life. I'm not matzdik for 1 second. We was but it's the same topic. It is.
What's the right way to yes go over the message?
So Vosya. The real mahalach is that the number one is that the person that's being mechanech or mashpia in any area, now we're in chinuch and tznius for a second, but is really supposed to have inner work. It's really supposed to be inner work. And when a person inside it's Dvarim Hayotzim and Alev in the right, then it must be on them. Now, if a person cannot figure out a mahalach that they should want this for the right reasons, then they're in a problem. Then they can't understand and they can't expect it. Because you can't expect the child to follow orders for reasons that are not pure. It just doesn't last. It doesn't last. Huh? So he's asking, so I should not be machanach my child is reasons not pure. So first of all, you could try, because maybe you're not going to be touching a sore spot and it's going to work. And but the better mahalach is you should become pure. That's not the mahalach. That means that the real nakuda is that a person should be in a better place if you want to be mashpia. Imagine a person is teaching Torah. He's a malamed, he's a magid shir in a place. Now inside, let's not go into it. It's really bad. Now he has this dilemma. He's torn. Why? Because he's saying, I'm really... Now, the person has two options. Or he should drop the job If it's really bad, then many times that's the right zach. But if he's like struggling, the mahalach is become better. I mean, there's many mahalchim how to do it, but it goes back to the same yesod. The same yesod is like this. Hashpah doesn't really have a deep effect if it's two separate parts. It means, don't mix into my life. This is my private life. Now I'm performing, okay? When I perform, if it's shocking, whatever it is, now I'm performing. You're asking me in my private life, what's the connection? Hashpah doesn't work that way. That's what Chazal said. It just doesn't work. It's not matzliach. It's not to touch the core, the back, all the way down. That doesn't work.
So Rabbi Trenk from Delft, they named the book about him, Just Love Them. That all the Talmidim said that his subconscious was all love. Whatever, if he was giving Techach, he was doing.
Fascinating. Fascinating. And you feel it. Talmidim feel it in a second. They're so shrewd. They really know it. The nefesh feels it. Even little children, the nefesh knows right away if the person is with them or he's not with them, if he loves them. People that have be'emes ahava and they say it works. They really, really have ahava. So back to the yesod. If we understand by chinuch, because we connect it, because it's the real life, we struggle. We all struggle in these areas. So now look at this. When a person is supposed to do ishtadlus, do you chap that the Rebbe Shalom wants you, I'm going to use funny terms, but trying to bring out the concept, the Rebbe Shalom wants you to be mechanech the karka, the earth? That means, what's chinuch? I'm trying to convey a message, persuade, convince, bring the light that I have, the understanding that I have, down to the level of that child. I wish I could, now, it's work, but if I could bring that person should be excited to do something in Yiddishkeit, that's a wow. That means, it penetrated. Baruch Hashem. He got me. He's asking him to change something because the person on the other party, or he understood. It doesn't have to be dafka with children. It could be any time a person is trying to convince a person that he should do something different. He's saying, I can't force you. I just want to lay down the information, the facts, have it. And then the person says, you know something? You're right. I'm changing it. Then you feel that you did something. In Ishtadlus, what's supposed to be changed is, first of all, the second half of the person. And with that, the Bria. So, a person wants so badly that their davening and their learning and their emunah and their mitzvahs that they do should have a hashpah on themselves. That when they have to work with mundane tasks, they have to be in the Olam Hazeh, you do what you're supposed to do. They should be able to be calm with a smile. This is a good example. To be calm with a smile. How does a person matzliach? Whenever. We all have success stories. What's the secret of those success stories? Because we call it we were in a good mood beforehand. But good mood is better a certain way of explaining that there was more neshama a little bit. And even though the person attacked me, I kept calm. That's a success story because the pshat is there was choshech in front of me, and my moich stayed in its place. And Baruch Hashem, I didn't react. I saw through the Torah. I had to react. I apologized. I was wrong. If I react like that, this is the sugya. We all have success stories here. This is the sugya. So watch. This is the awareness. When does it happen to you? When did it happen to you last? When you learned, when you were, when you slept enough. That's what tzaddikim said. You shouldn't be walking around like a zombie because you're not going to be able to do things right because you have to have the moyach shalat al alev. And the system of the person was built to be like that. The pintle of this shir is that even chochmas chaim, that means even when you're not talking about avodah and bitochen, people that are successful to be focused and they could be their mind over their emotion. They make decisions in such matzav and things that when there's a lot of pressure going on, a lot of push, and they keep themselves, they have a clear mind. This is what's right. They do it. They stay calm even when people attack them. They're successful people. They're humans. Shleimus ha'odam. because that's the Yesod. That's what the Rebbe Shalom wants from us. And anybody that's going to watch such a person, imagine watching a person being embarrassed in public, and how he reacts, and you can see, wow. Anybody, everybody would say, this is amazing. Why is it so amazing? Because that's how a person's supposed to look. Everybody understands and expects it. It's not easy. It's bad stuff. Sometimes people play it. There's a pastnish. The shaila is within in your house. If you could do that, that's the secret of ishtadlus. If a person learns how to do it, the secret of ishtadlus, they keep themselves in the right state of mind, also when they have to enter this world. A person must learn how to do it in the different areas. If you're a salesperson, then every time before the phone call, for my job, it's not telling you and me, I'm going to do it, and they start a conversation with the person. They try to do it right, al pi Torah. They ask the Rebbe Shalom for bakasha before and do matzliach. The person says they can't, whatever. Say. Sometimes you see people that are fundraisers and the self-conscience is in the right place. And they say, you can't give now. They will help. And one day you'll be from the Tzad HaNoistim. Don't worry. I'm never going to forget when you had us to give. If you're not giving now, it means now you can't. I'm telling you, David is going to repay you. You see, the person is in the right matzv. He's good. The person starts arguing. The self-conscious, he's not there. Even if the kind of Oisikans dog, it's not Mishana. He lost it. He's not in contact with the Rebbein Shalom. This is Tafked HaChaim. It's be'emes the Tafked HaChaim. So that's why a person has to chab. When it comes to the different areas, sometimes you have to ben on l'chaveiroi. A person wishes, like, I wish I wouldn't get into this. How did I get into this? But the Eibusha doesn't let a person stay out of ben on l'chaveiroi issues. You don't have the option. If it's getting married, if it's anything to do with shchenim, if it's having mechutonim, you don't have the option. You have to deal with issues. But I don't have koyach to deal with issues with money. I don't have koyach. The Rebbe Shalom wants you to deal with it with savlonas. Sometimes you see a Talmud Chacham. I once dealt with a Talmud Chacham. I was a young man. After Shana Rishon, mamash, but frish young man, I rented for a few months an apartment from someone, and he was a Talmud Chacham, herrlich Yid. And because I rented short term, so you could have reckoned the days or the weeks or the months. I remember his smile on his face when I asked him. I was like busy timing and nickels, He says, "Wie ze kimt aus besser verdienen?" What's Mishan? He's shy on his face. I'm Talmud Chacham. You saw on his face. He think, whatever. It's the best for the Azor. I know. So it was the yeah. You saw the person again. He has an apartment. He takes money for rent, but he's there. It's a melchama. It's a be'emes a melchama. There's choshech, schlepping a person, upsetness. There's so many different ergeshim. It's be'emes a melchama. But that's what Eibusha says. Put in light, pour in Shem and Zayis through Svarim that teach you the or from Torah, Tefillah, Emunah, talk about it, and then try to inch in to that world. 5 minutes here, there, and when you could connect those two, that's the Tachas Adam. And one of the best ways to be Matzliach is when you see a success story, Verstehus, Simcha Shel Mitzvah. It's a real Simcha Shel Mitzvah. It's not Stam Simcha Shel Mitzvah because it's Tachas Adam. Sometimes a person makes a siyum on a Masechta. It's be'emes Simcha Shel Mitzvah, but it's not so deep like when a person was Matzliach to stay, when a person stayed calm, they know afterwards, wow, I had a ness. I could have lost it. Sometimes a person comes, accuses you, it's not easy. This is the Yesod. They should help me to be Matzliach.